Any of you guys watched the Big House this weekend? It was Smash Tournament. Melee peaked at 90,000 viewers, I heard, or something like that. It was some crazy shit. This is the big news about the Melee prize pool for the Big House 9. There's a huge amount of viewerships for this. It was a huge, crazy event. And then the pop breakdown for the 900 entrance tournament was like this. Mango got 3,000 for winning first, $3,000, and then it breaks down from here. And this has been a big discussion for a while. There's been discussion about Evo prize pools before. If you don't know the way fighting game events work, and the Big House functions in the exact same way as like every other event for the most part, that doesn't have a prize pool or pop bonus inserted from sponsorships or developers or the TOs themselves to incentivize people traveling and stuff like that. You just take the entry fee, right? So if it's $10 a head and there's 909 entries, that's $9,090 for the event. And then it goes into this, and the breakdown's like this. This created a big discussion. A lot of people were saying stuff like, well, this is such a huge tournament, one of these massive, big, super majors, and the winner gets $3,000. Like, Mango has like 5,000 subscribers on Twitch. He's making way more money on Twitch than he is by, this. And I'm sure he's making way more money in salary each month than he is for prize winnings too. It's like that for most people. In fact, even I'd say that Leffen wouldn't probably not make money at third place with this amount of money. I think maybe only Zane and Mango would profit off of this. If you came from Europe and then you had to have a flight and hotel and entry and food and Ubers and all that, there's no way you're making money on $1,000. The issue with him, and I think most other Smash people who are like in this weird state as Leffen, is that he is so much bigger in terms of a draw as a streamer and as a content creator than he is as a tournament player. Like, the players and personalities for Smash has outgrown the actual profit and like money that can be made as a competitive player. It doesn't matter how many Smash tournaments he wins, he'll make more money streaming and he'll make more money by his salary. So he wants to be competitive, so he wants the money to increase. To be honest, in most games, not even just this, most games the prize pools are usually not like, only the biggest prize pools is what people are making money off of. Even in other games and stuff, the salary is usually the high part, and the streaming and the YouTube and all the deals that they get, right? Sponsor deals and stuff like that. Those are usually always what people make money off of in everything, not just Smash or fighting games or whatever. There is a big frustration point, I think, for a lot of people when you're in this range, where if you're not on a team or anything like that, you're losing money for events where you're in the top 8 of them. The main discussion that Leffen said, and a lot of people were discussing, was saying we should just take this entry and double it, right? Just make it go from $10 to $20. The thing that you have to remember though is that if the cost of getting into the tournament goes from $20 a head instead of 10, I think you probably go down to like maybe $700 or something. Like, you'll probably lose some people here, because I'm sure there's lots and lots of people who that extra bit of money, especially if they play multiple games, right? Like, so let's say you enter Melee and Melee doubles, and you enter Ultimate and Ultimate doubles. If it goes from 10 each, so that's 40, to 20 each, so it's 80 for you to enter just games before venue fee and flight and hotel, you're like, ooh. Well, maybe since I'm an Ultimate player, I won't even enter Melee. I'll just enter Ultimate instead. I'm not going to play in teams, right? Instead, I'll spend my time thanking Slurpees and stuff for dropping the big 23 months. Thanks very much. You're not going to double the prize pool if you do this, because obviously people are going to drop out, and Hit Scan Sedans dropping the big tier 1. Thanks very much. So the other issue with increasing prize pool by charging more is that of these 900 attendees, there's probably like 700 or maybe like 600 who know they're not going to make top 8. It probably will like kind of weed out a lot of the players who are just there for fun and to enjoy the experience. And at the same time, at a 900 person tournament, 8 players leaves 901 players left who don't make any money, and they had increased cost to attend the event. Every single other person who's not in top 8 pays $10 entry and flight and hotel and out of pocket and shows up to these tournaments and doesn't make any money every single time. People in our community, especially near the top, are so ungrateful to the people who are not in this top 8. These people are not making a cent. Everybody else that's not in the top 8, all these other players who just enter the tournament for fun and attend all these events in the thousands, are showing up to tournaments out of pocket, putting their money in and saying like, I want to play in this awesome open tournament. And to try to slide any of them out of the way for a little bit for the top, I think is almost always a bad idea. Is it worth it for the other 900 attendees who now don't make any money and had to spend additional money to get in there, right? The other thing to keep in mind is, If you have 909 entrants and the entry fee for game goes up, but not the venue fee, if 300 people don't attend this event or something, then the TO is now losing money. Now the TO is making less money because of that. The top players could maybe make more money, maybe. If you increase entry fees, you lose players. It's just the way it works. They enter less games and less players will enter the event overall because it costs more money. It's already out of pocket for them. You lose money for the TO because of that, because less people enter, which means less venue fees, which means less money for the TOs, less chances of them breaking even or making money on the event. They can pay less staff. They just lose money there. There's a big loss to them. And that money also is the money that's hired, that is used to hire streamers and commentators and everybody else, bracket staff, literally every other person in the tournament. And lots of people could say, well, if you don't have 3 months to save up $10 for the extra entry fee, I don't know what to tell you. And it's like, dude, it takes 3 months to save up the $1,000 it costs to go to an event. You have to save up money for the flight and the hotel and the food that you have to pay for and the fucking entry fee and the venue fee. This is all a lot of money. Besides like a TO staff, the person that is the most underappreciated in most communities is everybody who's not in the top 8. Those people are so important. I think maybe a better way to do it is something like a compendium or crowdfunding, which I think a lot of people agree with. I think something like having specific online targeted merch or direct donations to the pot, if people are interested in doing that, I think that would be okay. If you want to increase the prize pool, I think you have to be a little creative and look into crowdfunding. Look into alternate things that you can advertise that people can put money into the pot for that create something interesting either for the stream or the players or something like that, right? Someone says in the chat, the thing is with 90K viewers, the ad revenue alone on that stream would cover any losses from attendees. How so? It has no effect. The two aren't related. The stream and how the stream creates money or tries to make money or does things and the prize pool for players are two separate things. They're completely separate. They don't have correlation between the two. Usually streamers are not making a lot of money. The streamer has to stream all weekend long from 8 a.m. to midnight, 3 or 4 days in a row while paying for commentators, paying for all their equipment and everything. If anything breaks, they have to fix that. Managing the stage, paying staff for all the people that help them stream, paying backup so that they can have breaks and go eat and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, the ad revenue is not some huge number. Even the ad revenue for events like this, it's not a huge amount. It's not enough for them to even pay off their staff for the weekend just on ad revenue. I don't think people realize how little the viewership gains most events. Most of the time, the viewership is people just watching for free, and you run ads and 70% of them have ad block. Really, all you can do with that viewership is sell it to sponsors and put it on decks and put it on whatever and just be like, well, here it is. The viewership numbers are mostly only useful for negotiating, like, hey, look at how many people watch our events, and that's about it. I saw a lot of people saying, why don't we just sell sponsors to the stream and then just put it into the pot, right? Usually when a TO secures a sponsor, it's to pay for better venues or bigger staging or pay for their volunteers or pay for their bracket runners or pay for someone like 2MFGC to drop the big Twitch Prime, thanks very much, to pay for internet at at a convention center or like a hotel. To pay for internet for the weekend is 5 figures, right? It's like you have to pay a lot of money to get internet that's working and stable to have a tournament stream. You have to pay for all your judges and TO staff. You have to pay for the venue space and all that. You have to pay for you have to hire the stream that's going to stream all this and shit. Even for some cheap place, it costs a shit ton of money. It's like, oh, you need reliable X or Y around internet for the weekend. Okay, that's going to be like 20 grand for 3 days or 4 days or whatever. And just like, whoa. Okay, how the fuck am I going to justify paying for this? Convention centers are even bigger. It's like an absurd amount. Wouldn't be surprised if Evo's number for internet is like 6 figures for the weekend or something. On most TO's mind, if you get like 10,000 extra dollars, your idea is not we should have $5,000 pop bonus to draw in big players. Most of the time, it's like, well, we have 10,000 extra bucks. I can probably pay some of my event staff, have food for our event staff. We can make sure all of our bracket runners are paid for. Maybe if we had another 5,000, we'd make some money on this event. As cool as all these players are, as cool as me, the guy on the mic that commentates and says, oh my God, make some noise. As cool as we all are, if there's no tournament venue and staff and setups and internet and consoles and DLC purchase on these consoles and bracket runners and people who seed the event, Without those people, the tournament can't exist. So if there's more money and it goes to those people instead of players or me, then usually that's how you make the event better. The thing that I think helps Combo Breaker is that Combo Breaker pays all their staff and they treat their staff really well. And that extra money is not going to go to, the players or the commentators or whoever, but it's just about making a better event. And the event is better, so people want to go to the event because the event is better. The draw or the allure of the event is not just, wow, there's a lot of money, I should go. It's, wow, this event is run really well. They treat all the games well. I should check this out, which means more people go, which means there's a bigger prize pool because the prize pool comes from the entrants in our community. We're in a weird position where for someone like me, right, I make more money post Combo Breaker streaming, for instance, than I will going to Combo Breaker and commentating the event. In Smash, it's more top player driven, sure, but the event goes on. I know that it sucks to hear that, but if all of these players just stop playing Melee tomorrow, in like a year, the top 8 will still have 8 players in it who are very good, who are just like, well, I'm going to keep playing the game. And you might not be as big of a fan of them as you are all of these players, but eventually new people will show up that you're a fan of. Just like I'm a fan of Clown with a K who dropped the big sub. Thanks very much. It's just like me, the commentator. Somebody else will just take my job. They'll be like, well, we were going to have Sajam do this, but he just wants to stay home and stream instead of going to the event because he says it'll suck. It's like, oh, the event can't go on. Sajam's not there. Well, we'll just fucking hire out someone else. The other thing is that a lot of people were mad that Nintendo doesn't do anything for like the competitive Smash scene. All these players are like, what the fuck, man? Nintendo won't help us. And it's like, it's true. But at the same time, it's like, you have to know who you're dealing with. Nintendo doesn't want to do that shit, and they never will. Could you imagine, though, if Nintendo did get involved and instead of doing these open bracket, like grassroots events, Nintendo was like, all right, look, fuck all those grassroots events and stuff. We'll do an invitational where you all got to play items on. There's $50,000 on the line. What do you think? And then everybody's like, oh, shit. I think that people don't realize that how replaceable these players are. Not just the players, everybody is. They are, I am. Somebody will come up and just take the place of them if they want to stop competing or going. Someone will just replace them. And the viewer at home may be sad that Mango or Leffen or whoever's not at the event, but if there's a top 8 happening, they're pretty likely to tune in. It'll take some time until, these players are built up in the same kind of way that everybody else was, and I'm building up Olay for dropping the big 2 months. Thanks very much. It would take some time, but eventually they'd be replaceable. In the beginning, you'll see the viewership hit, but if they love the game and they're interested in it, they'll continue to watch, even if the viewership does go down a bit. New players will show up and go to these events, and they'll make slightly less money, but they'll still be there competing and stuff. And as much as it sucks that Armada doesn't go and compete at all these Melee events anymore, life goes on. And as much as it would suck that Leffen or Mango or whoever doesn't go, people would still tune into these tournaments in less numbers, but it is like that. It's the same thing with commentators. If whatever X or Y commentator stops showing up to events and just stays home, that sucks, and that might affect viewership a bit, but somebody new will show up and people will eventually keep watching them instead. IDK about the player thing for Melee. Streams lose like 10 to 15k viewers when Mango alone gets eliminated. Sure, I mean, it could lose 10 to 15k viewers. That's totally fine. Those viewers won't be there for a while, but eventually the viewership will just build back up. And even if it stays slightly down, it's not like that will kill the scene. It has an effect, but it's not like it's not like a make or break thing. Like these days, there could be a finals of an event with like Zane and Axe, right? With no Mango, no Hungry Box, no somebody. And it would just be like, well, this is awesome. Melee is really cool. Look at this great event that we have between Zane and Axe or whatever, right? New players will show up. You guys don't think they're replaceable, but it happens all the time. You just don't notice. For Street Fighter, it used to be that Seth Killian did all the events everywhere. Remember, Mike Ross was commentating everything everywhere. Z was commentating everything everywhere. Ski Sonic and Magus and all of these commentators everywhere. And now you just don't see them very much, almost at all. And the viewership, it'll go up and down, but it's not like it's going to stop everything from being okay forever. Even players, right? You used to see PR Rog at every event, and you're like, wow, this is crazy. You saw Snake Eyes at every event. Wow, Snake Eyes is at every event. It's crazy. You remember in Street Fighter 4 when you watched NL, Valoran, Oil King, Fujimura, you're a big fan of him back in the Street Fighter 4 days. Who else were you a big fan of in the Street Fighter 4 days? Punk. Who else was a huge star in Street Fighter 4? Machabo was a huge star. Hot Dog. Infectious was huge, Kichipamu. You guys, and those were all the big El Chicote. These are all the Street Fighter 4 stars. And if those guys weren't around, you know, I would just leave and never watch again, right? Oh, wait, those are all players you've started watching in Street Fighter V. They were around in the other eras. You just didn't see them on every stream, and they weren't super popular. Dominion Guile. Yeah, look at Arslan Ash. You think, oh, man, if all these Tekken players stop playing, I don't know if I could watch. And Arslan Ash shows up and beats them all. Wait, who? Now, wow, Arslan Ash is so good. I watch him at every tournament. If K-Brad versus Wolfcrone doesn't have it at every tournament, the scene is dead. Anyway, what I'll say is this. I think you guys are right that if all the top players stopped traveling, there would be obviously a dip in viewership, but it's not like it would kill the game so bad that no one would play it or no one would watch it anymore. New people will come up. People are more replaceable than you think. And as much as it sucks, if there's good Tekken, Melee, Street Fighter, whatever, if there's goods of like gameplay of this happening somewhere, you will watch it. Like for me, I'm in that kind of spot too, where staying home to stream is like maybe more valuable than traveling for tournaments, but you still need to travel for tournaments and do that stuff because otherwise they never see you on competitive events and stuff like that. You have to do both. How many events does like, you know, Leffen not go to a year that still have a lot of success, or Manga or whoever, right? The events will go on. It'll be okay.